Welcome your faces back to episode number 45, season 2 of the series Profit or Loss. Our target is to achieve a profit of £2,000. We currently sit at 1,340. In the last episode, number 44, we had a Nintendo Switch Lite that I tried to fix and failed. However, did say I'd try and revisit that in a live stream. This is the live stream in question, and people from the video were 100% correct. There was this little component above the SD card reader that was causing the SD card reader to not work. ChatGPT actually went on to then explain it could be one of three things: an SMD fuse, a typical SMD capacitor, or a precision resistor. Turns out, I think it was a precision resistor. Some brands use color coding like blue or green to indicate high stability thin film resistors. With that being said, I'm going to update the estimated sell price for this Nintendo Switch Lite, because we managed to replace it and get it working, to £80. Postage again will be £3.99, and I can update the estimated profit to £92.21. Hopefully soon we'll be able to see the actual profit made from those three switches. Spoiler alert, they're not actually selling too well. But that's not what we're worrying about today. We are focusing on a new item for today's episode. I paid a grand total of £160 for this faulty PlayStation 5. I'm coming for you today. We're going to make a profit. Do you know why? Let me show you. Feast your eyes upon this. Yep. You've seen correctly. This isn't a myth or a fairy tale. This PlayStation 5 has not been opened before. The actual increase of me being able to fix this goes up tenfold. However, it's obviously not always a guarantee. Anything you buy from eBay is never guaranteed. The listing itself even states does not power on, but warranty seal is intact. So you best believe, the first thing that I'm going to do is plug in the power just to make sure that we don't get any power. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What I will say is that it's incredibly dirty inside. And when I say dirty, it's like a thick sort of dirt rather than a loosey-goosey sort of dirt. Can you see this? It's like tobacco stained. That's what this is. We also have the same thing over on the disk drive as well. So if anybody's sitting down right now to watch me whilst they're eating, I do apologise in advance. Consider this the warning. Let's plug her in. I get the crackle. Okay. Whoa! Did you hear that? Let me do it again and see if I can pick it up a little bit on camera. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ready? Whoa! I'm pretty sure, my memory serves me correct, it's one of two things: LED ribbon cable or BIOS. Those are the two issues that you can have with the beep at the start. I think it's the LED rather than the BIOS. I'm also pretty sure it's only one beep for BIOS. If that is the case with this, and it's something as simple as an LED ribbon cable, the profits are up today. Based off history, I'm not going to get my hopes up. It definitely needs a good clean as well. Here's the zoom zoom. Oh, jeez. That is filthy. I'm going to try my best to get like a good angle of this fan, but it is there we go. Yeah, look at that. Look at all the crust and everything inside. I think I might have to get like a suit on for this one or something. I also need someone to explain to me that if it is the LED ribbon cable, this console hasn't been opened before. So if the console hasn't been opened, how is that cable failing? Because it hasn't been damaged, I'm assuming anyway. Could it just be the build-up of absolute mess that we've got inside? Right, let's reveal how bad this is. Yeah, not horrendous on this side of things, but it won't be because all the dust and everything is going to be underneath. So this will need a full strip down and a full clean. My first thing is I'm going to disconnect the cable. So watch this, ready? Is this going to be the issue resolved? So I've disconnected that cable now. Let's go ahead and plug it in. Right, plugged in. Oh, supposedly not the ribbon cable then. I thought the 3 beeps was definitely something relating to it, but clearly I was wrong. Maybe it is the BIOS then, and I just got it muddled up the wrong way round, perhaps. I did say, didn't I, not to get my hopes up. Okay, interesting. So let's continue disassembling this quickly. I don't know where in the console this came from, but we do have our first little unfortunate bug that is no longer with us. So rest in peace. Pop the shielding. Like I said, I think the issue is going to be somewhere around the BIOS chip. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the chip itself or whether the actual data on the BIOS chip is faulty. If we have a situation where the data is faulty on the BIOS, what that means is that I'm going to have to potentially look at making this console into a digital edition console, unfortunately. However, that still means that we'll be able to scoop a profit up rather than just completely call it quits. I'm hoping that doesn't have to happen though. Maybe we can save the information that's on the BIOS and transfer it to another BIOS and it will just work. That will be the dream. There are a few marks like on this board. You probably can't see, but down here. But again, it's not been opened before. So it must be like that from factory. Because this hasn't been opened, it'll be interesting to see what the liquid metal's like. You ready? do we have our famous dry spot in the middle. Not necessarily dry spot in the middle, but we do have a dry spot on the APU. Can you see just here? And then that reflects on here as well. Look at that. Never been opened before. Another bug we have here. That's a bigger one as well. We don't usually get that many bugs here in the UK when it comes to devices, so it's quite interesting to see that there's 2 in this one. Putting the chassis over to the side for a moment. Yep, other side of the board, extremely clean. I'm going to go straight for the BIOS down here. Let's see how easy this is going to come off. Sometimes they're really, really easy. Other times they can be a little bit more difficult. This one looking fairly easy. Doesn't really fill me with hope, if I'm honest. And I've just put the BIOS on my little reader. There we go. Looking nice and snug. So I'm nearly done just transferring the BIOS data from the console we're working on over to another BIOS chip. I don't want to show that process just in case for whatever reason I get in trouble, which obviously I don't want. I just want to get this console back up and running as it was in the factory and sell it for some profit. Now I just need to solder the new quote-unquote chip back onto our board that's faulty and give it a test. Let's see, was I wrong twice today? Or have we got something right? Tiny bit of flux there just to help us. Make sure we get those nice connections. Wicked. Little dry with our good old friend microfiber cloth. This BIOS chip, by the way, came from a donor board, so one that's already dodo. Right, let's give it a test. I'm not going to replace any of the liquid metal and stuff just yet. I'm literally just going to see if we get a different boot sequence to what we had, which was obviously nothing. Well, we had the 3 beeps, so that's what I'm listening out for mostly, is those 3 beeps. Hopefully we don't get that. If we do, I no idea, because like I said, I'm pretty sure it's either LED cable or BIOS with the 3 beeps. Here we go, momentous of truth. Now when I plug the cable in, that's where we got the 3 beeps before. So again, hoping that doesn't happen. 3, 2, 1. We got the 3 beeps again, and it doesn't power on. However, the 3 beeps this time are a little bit more delayed. Now, that to me, I'd guess, is that the BIOS file itself is potentially faulty, potentially. And the BIOS chip that we took off was actually A-OK. It's the data within that chip that we have an issue with. Or, again, it's not that at all, and it's something completely different. I'm now going to go back with this BIOS chip that I've already got on the board, and I'm going to attempt to put a digital BIOS on. All right, that's been swapped. We're going to go for the test again. So I will confirm, I don't actually think it's a digital BIOS that I put on. I think it is a disk one, but regardless, it's different files. So we'll see how this goes. It's good to learn and experiment, I guess. Getting it on and working would be one thing. Having the disk drive work with a completely different BIOS would be another. Done it once before and I don't even know how I did it. Right, is it the BIOS or is it something completely different? Let's have a look. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. No 3 beeps. Okay, this is good. Does it power on? Please go to a white light. Please. Please, please, please. Come on. It's a blue light currently. I'll let you know as soon as it turns to a white light because the camera looks a little bit funny at the moment. Please turn to a white light. It might go to a white light, then back to a blue. Perhaps. Because it might repair the console storage. Just flashing blue at the moment. Come on. You can do it. It's just turned off. Why is it? And now it's just turned back on again? That's strange. I highly doubt it's because it's overheating. I know we don't have a fan connected or anything like that, but that shouldn't be the case. I can't really feel the APU getting too hot. I feel it getting warm, but not to a point where it should be overheating. So I don't know whether it's now just struggling to boot because of the new BIOS. Let me see if I can boot it into safe mode. That's 1 beep. I need a 2nd beep. That's what I'm listening for right now. 2nd beep, safe mode. Cool. Okay, and I guarantee it probably, guarantee and probably don't really go in the same sentence. I don't think it's going to turn off now. I think it will stay on. If it turns off, we've got a bigger issue. But that, to me, proves that it's software related if it doesn't turn off, you know? I'm putting in a HDMI cable now, and now we have the screen on. Let's go! Okay, so we have safe mode. That is good. I'm going to get you set up on like a tripod or something just to run through this very quickly, because this is just stage 1 of being able to actually rectify and fix this console. I've got to this stage a few times and it's failed, so just wish me luck. It's like a 50-50 chance that we're going to fix this. I'm switching over the scene now. Everything's been set up. I'm just going to go for a complete reinstallation of the system software. I think that is the best place to start. I've got an SSD plugged in, so let's see how this goes. This is where it's failed for me in the past many a time. So reset PS5. Yeah, got something plugged in. Is it going to recognize, or is it going to come up with a disk drive error up here in the top right? Because I've had that a bunch of times as well. Let's hope it just says, yep, you can go ahead and reset. Come on. I know I need to clean my monitor as well. Looking rather dusty. Adds character though, in my opinion. Taking a while. I don't know how to feel. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Okay, good. Stage 1 has been passed. Could not work at any one of the 17,000 stages we have. So let's just hope and pray this goes through and restores to factory defaults. Okay, it's failed. 120640-3. I'm pretty sure that's disk drive related. Could be wrong though. Okay, it's turned back on. I can hear the disk drive wiring up as well, so I do actually think there's a game in the disk drive, if I'm honest with you. Okay, yeah, back to safe mode. Okay, so it's gone straight to the reset reinstall. I'll try it again and see what happens, because now every single other option is grayed out completely. So is it going to get further than last time? I doubt it, because nothing has changed. No, there we go. Okay, it sees the file. So I'm going to turn the console off. I'm going to try myself and turn it back onto safe mode, and then see if I can get those other options to rebuild the system, database, and cache. Maybe if I do that first, I'll then be able to do the full reset. There's our second beep. Should be on safe mode now. Do we have the other options available is the question. Yes. Okay, good. Right, let's go clear cache and rebuild database. Rebuild entire database. Yes, please. Okay, remember at this stage as well, it wasn't booting before. So if that goes to a white light, and I hear some beeps, that's a good thing. It's gone to a white light. Question is it in safe mode, or is it going to go back to a blue light perhaps? Because I don't think it's booted. Maybe I'm wrong. Can't start your PS5. Okay. Latest update file for reinstallation. So I've got that. So let's try it now, because it's gone straight to this screen rather than me trying to force it. So perhaps that's done something a little bit different. I'm making things up here as I go, but I have I have no choice. I hate software issues. And this is exactly what it is, because we had no power. We changed out the BIOS. There's obviously some coding stuff going on inside the BIOS, and this is why we now have this issue. Taken longer, I'd say, this time. Okay, it just jumped straight into update system software. This also looks different to the other screen. If I get past 30% here without an error, I'll be happy. Let's see. Okay, continue. Okay. Are we going to reset? Console has just turned off and it's turned back on. Okay. Do we go to a white light is the other question I have. Not quite a white light, but it could just be doing a plethora of things. Perhaps it's doing like another update. Does it say HDMI 1? Good, it's locked. What's it doing? Okay, this is good. It's installing the update file, and we're on 80%. I'm pretty sure this is the screen that it crashed on when we first done it, but I could be wrong. This is really good. Keep going. 100, let's go. Please now boot, because if you boot, that is going to be something that we've not had before. Come on, you can do it. If this works, it looks like clearing the database is what's needed when you install the BIOS the way I did for this specific issue. If I can get the disk drive working on this as well. Okay, good. We have the white light. If I can get the disk drive working, this is going to be incredible. Well, first off, I need to see if it's booted, I guess. Step number 1. Please don't be in safe mode. Moment of truth. HDMI 1 lock. Yep. Booted. Yes, let's go. Okay, I think it's about to take us to the home page, in which case, if it does take us to the home page, I wonder if we'll see a disk spin up straight away, because if the game shows up, that means that the disk drive is working. So let's just see. Okay, it's GTA 5 as well, and you can see it's copying down here, look, 5%. Amazing. The controller keeps disconnecting because I don't have anything, any of the wires set up or anything like that. The antennas, that is. Let me see if there's any updates. I did get the most recent one, so it should be okay. Yeah, up to date. I'm just going to make sure that I can reset it again. I won't show you that bit. I'll just confirm with you in a second. So what's weird, right, is that I also went over this in a couple of videos ago. The background on the PS5, it's not there. I'm talking, you know, graphically. I've tried updates on previous consoles and all those things, and that's why I just also wanted to reset this PS5 to make sure that it's not a glitch. And it doesn't. It's a glitch in the way that it's not there, but it doesn't seem like it's a glitch from the software updates or anything like that. I'm going to call this one fixed. However, I'm also going to give it to a friend to borrow for about 2 weeks. I don't necessarily play on the PlayStation 5, so I can't give this a really good run-in. Whereas if I leave it to my friend for 2 weeks, he'll play multiple games and just make sure that there's no graphical glitches or anything along those lines, which then I'll be comfortable enough to sell. I will still list on the eBay listing that this is what's been done, that it's been given to my friend for 2 weeks to ensure proper testing, and then I'll be happy to sell it. So what it means for profit or loss spreadsheet is that I'm going to say, yes, it's fixed, but it's going to remain there for a couple of weeks, and I'll update it once it's actually been sold. But I'm happy, nonetheless, that we managed to get it on working, and I don't think there's necessarily anything else I can do to give the images in the background of the PS5. It reads the disk as well, so super happy. It's a massive bonus that the disk drive is working. All that's left to do with this before I give it to my friend is give it a nice clean, because I want to make sure that it's as presentable as possible. So when I get it back from him, I can just go ahead and sell it. But as we see, that is item number 1 totally fixed. Should we move on to item number 2? Our second item of the day, I paid a grand total of £42 for. This is a Nintendo Switch Lite that supposedly just has no power. Well, specifically, they said the screen isn't turning on. From what I can tell, looking at it, it's got all of the screws intact, which is really, really nice to see. So we've got 2 on the top and 2 at the bottom as well. I'm just gonna, do you know what? I've got a feeling. No SD card. What about a game? No game. Okay, try and turn it on. We get nada. Let's take a look under the scope at the port situation. Yeah, do you know what? I mean, it doesn't look damaged, does it? No, it doesn't look damaged to me. So I can put the charging cable in here and should be okay. I mean, it did look a little bit crusty, but that's all right. This up here is called the ammeter, and this is just going to measure the current of the device and give me a little bit of a clue as to what's going on. So I'm going to plug a USB-C cable in, and we'll see what we get. That's my bad, because I need to turn it around, unless that is what the issue is with this console. Let's try again. I think it was me. Yeah, it was. 150. 5 volts, 150 milliamps. Let me turn it around. Wait there, wait there, wait there. Turn it around. Do we get the same on the other side? We do. That could be M92T36 or a plethora of other things. So that doesn't really nail down exactly what it might be. It could also be the port, but we need to disassemble it and take a look. It's not charging, and it's not going to turn on with that amount of current and voltage. Let's put it on top of this lovely device to help us keep it stable and start taking it apart. If the screws are anything to go by, this hasn't been opened before, and if that's the case, I'm very lucky. I specifically see a lot of Nintendo Switch Lites that have been opened before on eBay. That and normal Nintendo Switches are probably the worst for it. Ooh, first looks, we look okay, except for the fact we've got a huge dent in the chassis up here, 3 of them specifically. Doesn't look that way on here though. So that's interesting. Hard to tell just yet if this has been opened before. I tell you what, I got to be honest, this is actually looking pretty hopeful. It's clean on the inside. I don't believe it. Am I about to make another profit? Hopefully. Obviously, as long as that PS5 actually works once it goes for testing. If so, what a fantastic episode this has been. But don't speak too soon, Joey. Everything disconnected and unscrewed. So now we remove the board. We need to check over it with a multimeter and see exactly where this has failed. I'm going to go straight to M92T36, which is on the back here, to investigate further. Here we have the M92T36 power management IC for the Switch Lite and the Switch and the OLED, etc. Let's see if we have any shorts around here. So what I'm looking for is specifically a short to ground on maybe one of the caps that goes into the IC. So for example, this would be ground. So we should hear a beep. This will be ground, this will be ground, this will be ground, this will be ground, etc. The other side of those caps, we should not get a beep. So I'm going to check on what's called the CPU cap just here. Whew, okay, that's good. So we have 550 ohms. That's what we're looking for. That's nice. Do we have a straight away? Okay. Any others? No. We just got quite lucky looking. This is 670, which I believe it shouldn't be. Let me check here. That's all good. And that one's all good. This cap going into M92. So this side is ground, which goes off to like a massive ground plane, but this side goes directly into M92T36, and that is showing us a short. Not necessarily a short to ground, because if it was a short to ground, this 8 ohms that we have up here would be 1 or 2 ohms max. But instead we've got 8 ohms, so it's shorted to something, but I don't know what, and that's what's causing us to only get 5 volts and 150 milliamps. M92T36 needs to come off right now, and the way we do that is we come in with our hot air gun, and this specifically is at 430 degrees Celsius with an airflow speed of 50%, and I'm just rotating that nozzle. These are extremely hard when you first start doing them, because there's a lot of components around M92T36, as you can see. I'm just slowly rotating, and I'm just gently lifting up on the chip, and that'll pull it off. Now I'm going to take one from a donor board. Now I trust donor boards more than new chips. That's just me personally. Every single time I've worked with a new chip, it's just felt iffy. And the benefit of taking one from a donor board is that you've got like residual solder that's come from the donor itself. Makes it easier to get a nice connection on wherever it is you're soldering it to. So for example, I'll come back in here. This is from a donor. And I'm just going to drop that in place. Hopefully roughly in a good position like that. Come off the heat. And notice as well how I haven't changed the solder. That's not what I'm about. I figured that out maybe about a year ago or so. In certain situations you don't need to. So I'm going to put a drop of flux just there. And this is the unleaded that's on the board already. And I'm now just going to flow this chip in place. And you'll see all that solder wet, and hopefully it'll jump. If it doesn't jump, not to worry. There we go. I mean, it did jump. If it didn't, I would just kind of maneuver it into a better position that I thought was better. Now I'm going to come off the heat. I'm not going to push down on the component. I'm going to leave it exactly where it is. There's no need to push it down. Again, certain situations you might need to push down on the chip to just ensure a complete connection. However, majority of the time it's just not needed. And then I'm going to come in with my microfiber cloth here and just give it a little dab to get any of the excess flux off around it. There we go. Now, there is a possibility that because I've pulled this chip from a donor, it's bad. That can happen. So don't panic if it doesn't work straight away. But what I'm going to do now is come back in with a multimeter and check that we don't have a shorted M92T36. I should have done that on the other board that I had, but it is what it is. So I'm going to measure here, no short. Okay, so if I put the probes together, we have a short to ground because we have a complete circuit. Whereas here now, we don't have a short. I'm just going to check. All good. And our CPU cap, still at it's 400 now. The reason it's a bit lower is because the board's hot. I am just going to check around BQ as well whilst I'm here, because it's very possible we could have a faulty BQ as well. Rare, I'd say, very rare, but possible. Okay, well, I think we're going to be okay. How's our fuse looking? Is our fuse okay? Our fuse is good. I think, as easy as that fix is, it might work. Sometimes you're just going to get lucky in these situations, and I can't believe how lucky I've been with this one. I actually bought this a few weeks ago, and it's just been sat in my loft ready for a profit or loss episode before I get in over my head and ramble on and say, yeah, it's going to work. Let's just make sure other aspects of it works, like the screen and Wi-Fi, etc., before I get too happy. We know what can happen. If you don't know what can happen, you'll probably find out very soon. And what we'll do in a second is hopefully be able to work out the estimated profit of both of these items. Hopefully, he says. That's sat down nice and snug. Put a couple of screws back in, not all of them, because it's just going to be for testing, but I also don't want the motherboard to just be rolling around, you know. Luckily as well, this console is in great condition. We should be able to sell it for that top end, as long as it's working. Some screws back, not all of them. Plug in the screen, plug in our digitizer. I'm also going to give the port a clean. I don't think it needs changing because the clasp is absolutely fine. It's just a bit mucky inside, but that's enough for testing anyway. I've put the LCD and the digitizer in. So we just put the power cables in now. The daughter board cable, which gives us obviously backlight, and the on buttons and some other bits and bobs. Ammeter again. What I'm looking for here is 15 volts now. I need to see 15 volts. If I see 15 volts and a low amp draw, I'm all gravy. 3, 2, 1. 2 for 2 today. 15 volts, 100 amps. There we go. Sorry, milliamps, definitely not amps. And we have the battery symbol on the screen, which means, so we're at 150 right now. It's just a slow trickle charge. The battery is so drained that it needs to start slow and then it will gradually climb up. And we should see about 470 milliamps on here when the battery is more of a normal state. And then once it turns on, we'll see a fast charge and it will jump up to around about 800 milliamps or so. And the meaning of fast charge is that the battery, I guess, is deemed a bit healthier and it can take more current to charge faster. Now, it's a waiting game, but let's go. Super happy with that. All right, I actually missed it. It jumped up to 512, but I think I'm going to guess the device is on. Yeah, there we go. And you can see that it's gone up to 600 and it will go 700, 800. That's really cool. Sweet. It seems to be working. Again, I'll need to test the Wi-Fi and other things, but like I said, the condition of this is amazing, which is so rare to have like such an easy fault as well as a really good condition console. This has been a blessing of an episode, let me tell you that. I'll quickly confirm that it works. I'll be back in a second. Okay, here we have it. Everything seems to be okay. Mario Party Superstars was my game and that works fine. I've connected to the Wi-Fi as well. We've got really healthy draw and the battery percentage keeps going up and up and up at a nice rate. So I think we're all good to go. Now for the exciting part. Let's head on over to Sally's spectacular spreadsheet to round things up. I just want to confirm, whilst we're here with Sally, that I haven't sold any of the Nintendo Switches from the last episode, number 44. PS5 disc and a Nintendo Switch Lite. 0 parts for either of them, because both were from donor boards, lovely jubbly. Estimated sell price for the Switch Lite, I'll go the same as above, so I'm going to put that for 80. Gives us a £30 profit. And then the PS5 disc drive, roughly around about the same. I'm going to say £230 here. Giving us a combined total profit in today's episode of £80 and 10 pence. Didn't take me long at all, especially the Switch Lite. That was done in about 30 minutes or so. The PS5 was a bit more tricky, so I'll round it up and say 2 hours for that. Our estimated total profit is at 1250, while the actual still remains, unfortunately, because those things haven't sold. Like I stated as well, what I'll do with the PS5 is I'll send it to a friend. Hopefully we don't have to write that off as faulty and he can play games and then I can sell it on eBay. Then I'll come back to update everything. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And as always, I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.